What's going on, everybody? PM Sabo here, and today I'm going to go ahead and do my final review on Kaito Sentai Lupinranger vs Keizak Sentai Patranger. When I first saw these suits, you guys know how it went. I did not like them in the slightest, mainly because it was only just images, like this right here. It was only just images that I saw on Google Images. And at first I did not like the suits. Now, I was wrong. Definitely wrong about the season. 100%. This is something that I bet most of you can agree on, is that I was wrong about this season. This season was great. There were some moments where it actually brought tears to my eyes. Like, what am I thinking? That's tweeters. The last episode kind of brought tears to my eyes when they reunited with their loved ones. When Zamigo was done for. All that. It had such great writing. Such great fight scenes. I love that they used GoPro footage. When they were like swinging the arm around. When they were jumping off the top of a building. After they morphed. And I just can't complain about this season. This is not a trash season. This is a great season. Like I said, I'm wrong. It's not hard for me to say that I am wrong, but I am wrong. I have the VS Changer. That was my first Super Sentai prop that I purchased myself because of how much I like this season. Now, let's go back to where I was wrong. Let's go see if I can find a good image. Start off here with Sir Keiichiro. I know it's a little blurry because I zoomed it up. Let me go find a better image. This is better. The Lupinranger suits. I remember I had like a Time Ranger vibe with the colored visors. And I was just like, what? But now watching the season fully, this is the first Super Sentai season that I watched fully. I can see why. It's like you got the hats and everything. I love the Lupin red suit. I hope that becomes my first Sentai suit. If not, probably Lupin X or Pat X. That way I can wear it to work for Halloween. I wore my Power Rangers movie morph suit with the helmet to work for Halloween. Yes, people thinking I was Spider-Man and all that. But, I have fun. The black and the colors just match really well. Everything is just great. The capes are even like better. How they can use them as like a shield in some scenes without like the need of scissors or blade to outfighters. Although I still will have one nitpick. Why does the girl's helmet always have to be a heart? Almost every Sentai season has a girl having a heart. Now moving on with Pat suits. What did I say? The helmet was more of like a Dynaman-ish, because it still looks like that. But I can understand they're going for like a more sort of an old school vibe with the hats. When I saw the final episode of Lupat, when the Patrangers were fighting the final boss, I still can't pronounce his name, I'm not even gonna try. When they had the close-up shots, God, I was just like, oh, those look bad. I was just like, oh my goodness, why? So when you just close up and you just see that, you're just like, that's not menacing. But you got those pads here. Those pads. It's like level 2 body armor. And like I said, my same little nitpick, the girl having the heart. The characters were great. Great backstory. With the Lupinrangers losing family members to a gangler, Zamigo. And everyone had their questions on, like, the person who gave them their VS changers, is that the actual enemy? But it wasn't. It wasn't at all. He was perfectly fine. He was trying to get his loved one, like Noel and everyone else. But to everyone who did lose their loved ones, he could only pick 3. And he picked those 3. And those 3 were great choices. God. I keep on going more and more Lupinranger side, but I can't keep on talking Patranger that much. Because I've always been Team Lupin. I always have been Team Lupin. No matter what. Even when I talk to my friend who's not a Power Ranger or Super Sentai guy, I explained to him this season, he's like, he's Team Lupin because they did nothing wrong. The thief in their name is just a title. That's why I always keep on explaining. The thief in their name is just a title. And the reason why they're after the Lupins is because they're going by the book. They're a thief. They should be arrested when they really did nothing wrong. Let's go Patrangers. The Patrangers had a nice story. You know, with Sakya being the second Patranger. Not the first. Because the second Patranger, the first Patranger, died in battle. And then there was that one gangler who straight up skinned him. Made it sure that, to fool the Patrangers by saying, yeah, I'm back. But Keiichiro had clues as to knowing that something's wrong. He wouldn't leave his MP3 player. Keiichiro at the beginning, he was a hard-headed cop. He didn't care. He wanted everything done to bring peace to the people. He didn't know these guys. He didn't. Until later in the end, when he actually had a heart and realized that not everything should be like by the book, and you gotta realize the more heartful things. With Sakya and Umika as like a couple-ish, it started off really awkward. I will admit, this is Japan. They do awkward things. Like their commercials. Those are awkward. What else is there to say? Sakya, he grew from a rookie to as good as the other two. Yes, he still has his quirks, but so does everybody. Not everyone is perfect. Moving on to Tsukasa. Let's zoom in so we get a good shot of her. When I first reviewed her, like, you know, the characters, henching and all that, I got some of like a May vibe from Zooranger. She almost looks exactly like her. Almost. But it's not her. She's addicted to fluffy animals. Plushies. But she had to stay professional. I will admit that was a pluster, like seeing her like with that one the shark plushie. And she was just like, "Why are you so cute? I just want to hug you and bring you home." And I still remember that scene. Oh, that was funny. And then she finds the people that went missing because of the gangler that was selling the sharks and capturing them and leaving them there. Patranger's good team. There's nothing more to say. Lupinrangers, let's go to these guys. Let's start off with Kairi. He lost his brother to a gangler. That is a really close-up shot. Let's back up a little bit. He lost his brother to his amigo. He was in turmoil. He was a younger brother. He was so mad. He wanted to be better than his younger brother, from what I wanted to anticipate as. But he just couldn't. He was pushing his brother away, and then when he lost him in that alleyway, he thought that was it. There was nothing else he could do. He couldn't get him back. If I were to lose my brother in the same way, I would feel the same way. If I were to lose any family member in that way, I would feel like there was nothing else I could do. God. What is there to say? Before I go in absolute turmoil, Lupin Blue, Toma. He lost his fiancée, Aya, who he proposed to her in the most weirdest of ways. Just straight up just pulls the ring and sets it on the table. Just all nonchalant. It's like, hey, yeah, marry me. She went to go pick her dress and had Toma on the phone, and sure enough, she had the same fate as Kairi's brother. From what I can tell, he's a good cook. Not Gordon Ramsay good, but a good cook. When you can do a cook-off with a gangler and win, so you know you got some skills. Because the gangler was still using his Lupin collection to help with everything, but he still won in the end. At the beginning, Toma was kind of an idiot. Sometimes, when the Patrangers were over at the bistro, and he went to go ahead and lunge towards one of the VS changers, but Kairi stopped him. That was a really, really dumb move. Because he just wanted it over with. He wants his loved one back. But Kairi told him to wait. Because they will. And they did. Umika. Lupin Yellow. That's as much as I can zoom in. She lost her best friend. Right in front of her. Sugochi, I think is her name. Her best friend. She's the, I wouldn't want to say obligatory girl, but she kind of is. the sweetheart, really, of the group. And when she got into the whole thing with Sir Sakia here, when they found out their identities, she stuck up to him. When they were both at the GSPO, she stuck up for herself. Straight up talked over him and shut him up. Yeah, she's a little bit of the quiet one because the other ones are picking on her most of the time. She still know what to do. She still knew what to do. Sorry. Grammar. Let's move on to, where are we going? Oh yeah, that was the original photo. Come on. Okay, here we go. Good enough image. Lupet X. At first, there was a speculation that Pat X would be Hilltop. I remember thinking the same thing. It would be cool if Hilltop was a part of the team. But he eventually wasn't, and it was Noel. Great character, though. A part of a different world where he wasn't human. But the ganglers took over, and Arsene Lupin took him in as his own. Trained him how to modify the collection pieces. Gave him the Exchanger. And Arsene Lupin was a father figure. But he lost. I'm still deciding on which suit I should get. I like the Lupin X suit because of the shield, but I like the Pat X suit because of the gold. I'm still deciding. Let's move on to the power-ups. Super Lupin Red. We'll move on with Tricolor in a bit. Oh yeah, here's the first power-up of the Lupinrangers, where they split to 3 because of that little thing on his VS changer. That is not what I wanted to do. Good striker. He didn't know his powers. He didn't know he could split them to 3, but he did. And that was a cool scene, seeing like a team of 5. And seeing that time where it was just like, they dressed up as blue and yellow. The other 2 reds. And Toma and Umika were still at the bistro. But Kyrie was still out. And I still can't name that one guy. It was dressed up as Kyrie. It was a great scene. It stumped them. It did stump them. That was essentially like the second power up to the team besides, where is it? Yeah, we'll talk about Tricolor. Besides Patranger, I trashed this suit like no other. Oh my goodness. Because of the pink and the green and the red. I was like, what's going on? At least it wasn't like a Shielded Triumph sort of thing. The only thing special that they gave him was silver pads, pink on one side, green on the other, that little line where the visor meets the hat. And I was just like, what is this? But it's overpowered to no end because it combines the powers of all 3 Power Rangers into one. It unleashes a big fireball to the enemy. Excuse me. Just yawned. What was the next one? Oh yeah, Lupin Tricolor. It basically does the same thing as Patranger, but with a different striker. Jackpot striker, and this is only an end film. I would love to see this more, but originally I just thought, why? In my opinion, it didn't look good to start. Okay, the boots are different, I just noticed that. You got the blue and the yellow, and just a straight up red visor. The cape is longer, which goes all the way down to the boots. Oh my goodness. But looking back at this thing again, it is overpowered just like Pat Hugo. I prop the suit actors who did an amazing job just going back and forth between whose line was who. When it came to Pat Hugo and them just rolling down on the pavement, which is still hilarious. So these guys just like, oh, what? Hello? I know I won't cover everything. But it's best to cover most of it than everything. Because there's not really much to say. Oh yeah, let's take a look at this scene. Super Lupin Red. Who uses Victory Striker, I believe that's what it's called, to get that nice big chest plate. Those wings and the the cape just separated into 2. And when they all fought Destiny, it was great. A great scene. Super Lupin X. When they use Siren Striker, where you can use both Pat and Lupin powers. And those 2 sidebars were just great. Use the power to handle that recoil. So overall, let's just keep this image. That's not what I wanted. Nope, not good enough. I am so picky. That's what I hate, is that I'm picking just a random Decoranger thing. But I just can't complain about this season because of how great it was. The storyline, the everything. How everything was played, especially according to the close to the end. When the Lupinrangers face Zamigo one-on-one. Defeated them and they got their loved ones back, and we didn't know if they would ever come back. Because they were still stuck in that gold safe, but they did come back. Thank you, Jackpot Striker. When Keitro took the shot, he was in utter loss. That he couldn't bring back the people that he wanted to save when they found out their identities. They all had bonds with each other. That may have not started from the beginning, but definitely had some at the end. This is a versus season, not a versus movie. And with the versus season, you can have more character development between the two teams. And that's a plus side to it. A versus movie only happens like 1.5 hours. You don't get that much character development between the two teams. You don't get that much. But it's there. This takes a versus movie, puts it in 51 episodes, spreads it across many hours. With different power-ups, different Zords, different style fighters, and trigger machines. You just can't complain much about this season. It went old school. Cops versus robbers, and it was just great. Now we all just get to wait for Lupac Dench to happen. Let's see here. Q Ranger had how many Rangers? 13, right? Then you get to add 7. That's almost like 20 Rangers in a movie. While it may not be as much as what we had in the Legendary Battle for the 35th season of Gokaiger, this can still go on ahead and do a great job. Especially that one, what is it? Q-Tama that goes on ahead and copies Lucky into how many he wants. They can have as many as they want. And with the power-ups that they have, they could be unstoppable. I'm going to go ahead and end it here. I hope y'all enjoyed my final review of this season, as I sure did enjoy this season. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.